People, process, tools, service providers. These are the 4 key elements of effective service management. But what are the critical considerations underneath each of these elements for your ITSM to be effective? In this video, we're going to explore the next level of consideration within people, process, tools, and service providers to ensure that your ITSM improvements and implementations are successful. Hi there, I'm Kirk. I'm an ITSM expert and I've been helping people and organisations to get more from their ITSM improvements for the past 15 years. I'm regularly called on by IT leaders and executives to help out on some of the most complex ITSM and technology projects within this region. I have a passion for technology and service, and today I'm super excited about going deeper on the 4 key elements of ITSM, understanding the critical components that sit within people, process, tools, and service providers. So let's get started. Okay, so here are the 4 key elements of effective service management. Let's go through each one to understand what those key considerations are within each of these elements. So let's start with people, and again, one of the most important elements here. So let's have a look at the key considerations under the people element within effective service management. So the first part within this key consideration, there's 4, is the operating model. So the operating model ensures that the people who are delivering that, well, first of all, ensures that the actual IT services have been defined. And then it ensures that the people are aligned and the roles are aligned to a consistent way of being able to deliver to those services. So really, really important key consideration under the people element there. Next one is around high-performing teams. So at the end of the day, really high-performing teams is a decision that you need to make in terms of, do we want our teams to become high-performing teams? Do we want them to exceed the customer's expectations? And again, if you have, then certainly that's a pathway that you need to start exploring around considering being effective and high-performing team. Next one is around service experiences. So again, a critical component, typically usually focused at the end user part of service management and the people part. So obviously connected to your catalog and your portal experience. Again, do you have a service experience strategy? Have you considered that? Well, you'll need to have one if it's going to be effective. Around the service experience strategy, please feel free to reach out to us. We've got some templates that we can share. We've got a 6-point infographic that we can share with you that gives you a head start in being able to create a service experience strategy as well. Okay, and then finally within the people element is comms and organizational change. So again, if you're going to be effective, you really need to have some thoughts, some strategic thinking around this. So if you are making improvements, if you've got continuous service improvement, how are you communicating that out? Who are you communicating it to? What is the organizational change that you need to go through? And also, is there any training, ongoing training? What is that requirement? So again, really important to be able to consider the comms and organizational change when it comes to the people element within effective service management. Let's now have a look at the process element. So process again has 3 key considerations that are critical to ensuring that the process element is effective. The first one is really focused on governance and controls. So do you have your standard governance and controls in place? This is really, if an incident happens or a disruption happens, can you manage that? Do you have root cause analysis? Do you have controls around your change management? Are you up to date with all your audit requirements? These are all the key controls and governance around process. So a really important consideration around when you're thinking about process. Next one is around process maturity. So again, just thinking about process maturity, how mature are you and how do you know? Again, so you can benchmark that, you can get some type of understanding. We have an offering here at Service Management Specialists called Transformation Foundations that we can share with you and discuss with you around getting an understanding of your maturity. But it's really important to understand that you can't go forward until you understand where you are now. And typically you want to be able to do that formally as well. So that's a really important point and a really important critical consideration around the process part. Then finally around CSI and the continuous service improvement. So what are you doing in terms of uplifting your process ongoing? Do you have a formal way in which you are reviewing, measuring, optimizing? Is this a thing within your organization? Because if it's not, it's a critical component to ensuring that your ITSM is effective. Let's now have a look at tools. So the tools element, there's 3 key areas in which are critical considerations around the tool element. So first one really is around innovations. So do you have a way in which you are working either with the business or with the broader IT where you're actually collecting new innovations? And what we've found is that most of the best innovations are coming from folks who are typically outside of IT and bringing ideas to the table. So do you have a way in which you can actually manage a backlog or a demand pipeline really around new innovations? I'm not saying that every single innovation needs to be implemented, but you do need a way to be able to manage that demand so it can be evaluated, can be prioritized if your service management is going to be effective. The second key consideration within the tools is automation. What is your backlog around automation? What's your strategy really around it? And how are you making progress and basically getting through all of the automation opportunities within your organization? You really need to consider this if your ITSM is going to be effective. And finally, within the tools element, it's really around artificial intelligence. So what parts are native to the platform that you're using that you can start to use to really progress AI? What confidence are you giving to the business around AI that can be used? What is your backlog? What is your demand pipeline around potential candidates for AI as well? These are all really key and critical considerations for tools to be effective as part of your broader IT service management. Let's now have a look at the final element around service providers and what's critical really around this. So at this stage, the critical component for service providers is just ensuring that you have some type of partner operating model in place. Why? Because the partner operating model typically will have a number of layers to it to ensure that performance can be managed and it is in alignment with what your business is expecting. There's global best practices such as SIAM that you can leverage, but if your ITSM is going to be effective, you need to have some type of partner operating model in place, not only to manage the day-to-day with your service providers, but to have some type of strategic outlook, ensuring that new service providers coming into the environment have a place that they play and play a part in your broader service management. So critical to ensure that under service providers you've got an operating model. So there you have it. You've got the critical considerations within people, process, tools, and service providers. These are not exhaustive by any means, but they are really good considerations for you to start to think about in terms of becoming effective with your service management. You can interpret these in many different ways. As I said, there's a number of other considerations on top of these, but these are the critical ones that we would suggest that you consider for driving underneath each of these 4 key elements of effective service management. Are you looking to improve your ITSM? Head over to servicemanagementspecialist.com ESME book to download your free ITSM implementation guide. It's a step-by-step guidance for effective ITSM implementation. It's proven strategies and best practices included, designed for beginners and seasoned professionals alike. Boost efficiency and streamline service delivery. Download now and unlock the secrets to ITSM success. servicemanagementspecialists.com/ESME book. If you've found this video useful, then please click on the like button and also consider subscribing to Service Management Specialists channel on YouTube. We're committed to helping technology leaders get more from their IT service management improvement initiatives, projects and programs. Each week we share tips, tools and techniques and insights to help you to improve your processes, people and technologies.